Welcome back, guys. Today we're looking at Cardano. It's been down for 12 weeks, so the way I look at it is we have two questions to ask ourselves, and these are always if-then statements when it comes to trading. There are no guarantees in trading. So the way I look at it is what happens if the market breaks down past my support zone, and where are my support zones? So that's the first question. The next question is what happens if the market goes sideways and looks to accumulate at a particular price level? What am I going to do? If this happens, then I do this. If this happens, then I do that. That's the main thing you have to ask yourself when it comes to all trading. But of course, we're just looking at Cardano today. I'm going to go through some of the reasons why I think this has happened. I'm sure you've probably heard it before, so we won't dwell on it, but we're going to look at some of the price areas of support and resistance across ADA, USD, ADA BTC, ADA, ETH, most importantly, of course, because Ethereum is showing signs of strength. So if you haven't already, make sure you like the video up, pump the likes to the moon, subscribe to the channel, bell notification icon if you haven't already. And of course, join us on Patreon as well. There's a few spots left at the 39, and we're extending the Black Friday special, which is 16% off, basically 2 months for free if you want to join the annual membership. So the altcoin portfolio is coming out this week, all the alts that I'm holding, and you can see all the posts that I've put up this week with the altcoins that I've sold and what I have been buying as well. So make sure you check that out before all these spots are taken. Annual is the only one that gets the discount. All right, back to the chart. So the levels I'm looking at for ADA are the support zones of around 90 cents to $1. If that happens, then I have to consider that maybe the bull market for ADA is over, as crazy as it sounds. I know just 3 months ago, we were looking at the highs of $3.10, $3.16, and thinking, sure, this thing could go to $5 or $10. It had blown off a fair bit. There wasn't much volume coming into the market, and it was a lot of hype based on the back of the smart contracts. So smart contracts were released. Everyone's aware of that now. Nothing's getting built at the moment, and we're just waiting for that to come out. So we've heard this time and time again. I think not much is going to change until Cardano ecosystem projects are able to build on Cardano. Now, of course, there are other areas that are taking the gain. So cryptocurrencies, niches, which are taking a lot of their heat or taking a lot of the money from Cardano. Cardano actually saw a negative flow of money this week. So flows by asset, 1.1 million here out of ADA. Polkadot's getting money coming in. Solana's getting money coming in. Ethereum's getting money coming in. Bitcoin's getting money coming in. All right. But at the moment, Cardano is down. So there's always the balance that we have to play as well. Do we want to be buying something when it's down? But what happens if it goes further? So that's when you need to have those if-then statements. A lot of people want to find guarantees when it comes to investing, but unfortunately, there are no guarantees. You can feel it and see it in YouTube titles that this is going to happen, this must happen. But hopefully by now, you're seeing that there are no guarantees, and you have to play the if-thens as best as you possibly can. So Polkadot's been taking some of the money coming through with parachain auctions that started a few weeks ago and are continuing throughout December. Solana's getting more news coming out as well, and it looks like it's going to be stronger than ADA for the foreseeable future, or I guess in the short term as well, as it continues to accumulate at its all-time highs because it hasn't broken down. Grayscale launches Solana Trust, now manages $54 billion in total, and of course, we see all the ecosystems here which are just taking the money away from other projects that we want to see it go into. Of course, Cardano in this case. NFTs taking a lot of the money, obviously dropping off now. And the biggest one, no surprises, Metaverse has obviously taken quite a lot of the gains. Terra ecosystem is taking a lot in the last 24 to 1 week. So 1 day to 1 week. And of course, the ecosystems of Binance, Avalanche, Polygon have all been crushing it lately. So there's a lot of bad news for ADA at the moment. Not just news, fundamentals. And on top of the fundamentals, of course, we see it from the charts. Charts have been down. I know you want to hear some good news from all of this. What's happening next? At the moment, the good news is what will happen in the future. The potential of price gains. And I'm still looking towards my targets further up here. We're looking at ADA around $4.70, $5. So I've talked about $5 a fair bit. Of course, we want to see it get back to $3 to begin with, and then obviously break through the $4 and get to the $5. But the $5 is just based on my fib extension targets here. And above the $5, which brings us out at around 230% from its current position, still holding okay at the 50% zone, which is very, very important. Above that is $6.30, so around that mid sixes, brings me out to the doubling of the entire range. And then we move towards the 2.5. So the 250% brings it closer to that $8 mark. So at the lower end, I know a lot of people are probably targeting the lower end now because the prices feel so depressed. We're looking at that $5 to $7. So that really hasn't changed from where we were back at these highs. Around $3 going to $5 wasn't exciting. So people are having to put out new targets of $15 and $20 ADA, but now you can see that that might not be possible at this point in time, especially after the big depletion in price and all of the fear out there that, you know, there's just no one coming back through to buy ADA at this point. And you can see it in the volume. Really, the volume is telling us that there's nothing at the moment. There's no signs of some real support coming in. That's what we want to see. And of course, if the dollar or that 90-cent level breaks down, then you got to look towards lower levels, which are around that 40 cents. Of course, I'm not saying that we're going to 40 cents. I'm sure there'll be someone in the comments saying, that's what you're saying. Of course not. We've got to see how it reacts to certain price levels before it gets there. And so I'm still not looking at this as a buying opportunity. I have my ADA for a long-term bag. If I was trading, I don't see a trade at this point because there is no sign of a reversal yet. We're still down. We go across to ADA BTC. We're still down, and we just broke down again. We didn't get the support that we were hoping for at the 50% level, and we've been rejected a couple of times at major 50% levels. Once here at the 4,600 Satoshis, and now we've just been rejected again at the bull market range 50%, which was 3,300. So we're heading towards the next support zone, which is our 2,000 to 2,500 Satoshi level. Of course, the if-then statements come out again. So if we break down from these levels, then we're probably heading back into this zone, this accumulation zone that ADA BTC was seeing during the bear market or the crypto bear market 2019, 2020, and it bounced around these levels, accumulating again before it took off. So this would be the play to increase the Bitcoin bags if it got down this low, because we're pretty sure we should get another move up from that level. The next thing to keep in mind is if this is a downwards trend over a long period of time for ADA, do not take your eyes off this. You want to put a level to the high and to the next high, and then just draw that out as far as you possibly can. So if this comes out to 2022, 2023, 2024, and you start to see the market fall into some support zones, find its way back out, and then work its way up to a new high, just make sure that you know what to do based on history last time. You see this market came out, it hit some 50% and only made it marginally higher and came back under. If it happens to continue with this downtrend, unfortunately, ADA might not be the best long-term hold. Now, I'm giving you the hopium-free side of Cardano or any sort of investment, and this is at a long-term investment. People that buy ADA tend to say, I'm going to hold this thing for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. What do you think? Should I keep it? Yada, yada. Of course, if you want to keep it, you can stake it in the TIA staking pool. Link to that is in the description down below. But I would strongly urge you to keep an eye on this chart, this ADA BTC chart, in case your investment is not outperforming Bitcoin. This thing needs to outperform Bitcoin. Otherwise, you're taking on too much risk holding Cardano. So keep an eye on this. This is years into the future. So I'm not worried about it now, but at this point, if you are buying it low, you definitely want to see this go up against Bitcoin. Same deal with ADA ETH as well. You can see this is on the downtrend. We are back into the zone that it was accumulating in for all those years. So the gains against Ethereum are basically getting close back to equal. So Ethereum having the same sort of gains as ADA has had. It sounds very, very crazy, but that's what the chart is saying. It's not just my opinion. That's the facts here on the chart. So the same sort of deal here. We want to ensure that whatever we're holding is still trending up over the long term and beginning to break out. That's why we hold Ethereum over Bitcoin, because this is the chart that Ethereum is showing against Bitcoin. It is starting to break out against BTC. So ADA's still got some years on its side. You don't want to see it break down from these levels. So that would be my if then. If ADA breaks down from the 2000 or the 0.0002 level of ETH, it's probably not a good hold and the money is safer in Ethereum. Speaking of which, we look at Bitcoin and ETH. Bitcoin is still holding its ground. It's not going to surprise me if we hold longer at these levels or begin to break down a little bit and test our 50%, go sideways and start to work its way higher again. I don't know how long this is going to play out, but if it does, then of course we could see this effect of the negativity in Bitcoin and the crypto space flow over into other cryptos. And we'll probably see things like the metaverse and things that are really popping continue to pop while not much is happening with Bitcoin. And we've seen Ethereum start to make a move at the moment. We're midweek at the moment. We did make a move to 4,700, but at the moment it's just sort of cooling off again, back underneath the previous week's range. So we're getting a bit of a cool off here, and maybe the market might take some profits at this level, but that's a long way down the track. We're just looking at ADA at this point. So ADA, it's needing to hold its ground here. My if-thens are if it holds these levels, 90 cents to $1, good signs, and it's a reaccumulation again. If it holds this level of the 50% zone and starts to hold higher, like starts to form a base a little higher than here, then that's an early sign for me that sure, I could buy a little bit more for the long-term bag. But of course, I'm going to continue to watch the ADA BTC chart and the ADA ETH chart to give me a signal. And that's what I talk specifically about in the Patreon group. So if you haven't already, check it out down below. All the links to this are down below. The Black Friday special is on for a brief period until this is all sold out in the 39s, and then all that's left is the 49s with the annual as well. And of course, check out the podcast that I'm working on with Eric. It's our Crypto Simps. Yes, we do make fun of ADA, so if you are very sensitive to the investments that you have married, this might not be the podcast for you. But if you aren't a simp, go and check us out. I'll leave a link to this in the description down below. Make sure you like, subscribe, join the channel, all the good stuff. I'll see you guys at the next video. Until then, have more fun to get more done.